yesterday as well.
Love it when people were changing the dressing rooms. And that's Tapu Gura. Hidden player, that's helpful. Maybe Jackson.
When we start, Chris, did you want to hit the buttons on the...
Yeah, it's just the pads, isn't it?
Yeah, and then just, I've turned the master volume down because there's just a little bit of residual volume that comes through.
On the right, the red?
Yeah, the big red.
Yeah. Where do you go? Where do you put it up to?
Full.
Full? Yep, sweet. I can do that.
Yep.
5 minutes.
Then we might close a bit just in case it does run on. Just 2 minutes before the image goes live.
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9, 10, 13, 17.
He didn't bring the kids in. His grandparents. Yeah, no, I'll put them away.
New Lambton coaches. Sorry, guys. On your team list on the bench, you've got an 18 who's a hidden player. Is that Jackson McCormack?
No. No, Jacko's over in Denmark.
Okay, so do you know who it is off the top of your head?
It is changed. It's Dre. What's Dre's last name? Off the bench?
Yeah.
Acoch. A-K-O-C-H. Acoch.
Thank you. Dre.
Was it hidden? I don't know.
It's in their profiles when they set it up.
If
Wants to get on the radar.
Let's try it.
Hey, coach. Thank you, guys.
So we check this out in a second. 8, 10, 11, 12, 15.
Leave space for somewhere there.
Is that this one you test from, I think?
Yes.
Can I take a photo of that? Yeah. Once I script them out, I'll give it back to you. Do you want to follow it now? I'm going to script them out. No, I'll just write down the list once we start talking.
Oh, okay, right.
I'll work through that while we're waiting. Let's take that second sheet. Just hold it there. Good afternoon and welcome to Blacksmith's Oval, where the stakes could not be clearer. This is a relegation dogfight in every sense of the word. Swans United and New Lambton are scrapping, not just for points today, but for survival in the Northern New South Wales NPL moving forward. Swans sit 10th, just 1 point clear of Adamstown and 9 ahead of New Lambton, with 5 games each left. Nothing is locked in, and a win here could be season-shaping and future-defining. For Mick Stafford's Swans, the wheels have wobbled hard. 5 straight losses since they knocked over Cooks Hill in one of their most comprehensive displays of the season. Stafford's message this week: it's time to switch to survival mode. He knows the challenge, likening his squad to a Toyota Corolla trying to the competition, but today is not about speed. It's about heart, hunger, and holding your nerve. Patterson, expect him to be central in this one. Across the pitch, New Lambton are hanging on by the thinnest of threads. 1 win all season, and even that came in unusual midweek circumstances against a weakened Charlestown. But you wouldn't know it from talking Looking to Shane fighting and still give counts for a lot at this end of the ladder. They'll need their leading scorer, Kent Harrison, to stand tall today amongst others. If the Eagles are going to fly out of this, it starts there. So here it is, Bell Swans and New Lambton, two teams with everything to lose and maybe one last shot to change their season. I'm Chris McPherson, joined by injured Lambton Jaffers younger Matt Butner. Butts, welcome.
Thank you, Chris.
How do you see this one shaping up?
Yeah, exactly how you mentioned it. A dogfight, I believe it will be, and two sides that have struggled this season, unfortunately. I see good conditions. The field looks nice. I want to see something from New Lambton today. I want to see some sort of urgency. I want to see them try and crawl themselves back into this kind of battle that they've unfortunately dug a grave for themselves for this season. I haven't seen the Bell Swans in the flesh this season as well. I know this has been a fortress earlier in the year at Blacksmiths for them. Fallen short the last couple of weeks, as you said, 5 straight losses. But I think it's going to be a really important start. Individual battles across the field as well are going to be massive. And like you said, there has to be a winner today for either side. A draw is not going to do any good for either of these teams. So, yeah, expect an enthralling encounter.
I certainly think it's going to be enthralling. Both these sides we know have a tendency to leak goals, but both have shown ability to score goals as well. Bell Swans are actually one of the highest scoring teams in the competition, and we've seen New Lambton put goals in against a number of sides, scoring multiple times. I think they're one of the only 2 sides that have scored twice against Edgeworth. So when we have a look at that and start to take that into consideration, I think that's something we might see here today. You touched on the pitch surface. The decision was made in the lead up to this game to switch the reserve grade and first grade games because there had been water on the surface in the lead up and to maximise the best of conditions for the NPL. And whilst we're under some slightly grey skies and there's some predictions of very minor amounts of rain, it looks pretty good out there. It's cut short. The ball's going to move. These teams are both going to attack, and it's going to be exciting to watch. Let's have a look at how the two sides line up. We'll start with New Lambton. In goals, number 32 is Jagger Hollett. Number 3, Caleb Reed. Number 4, Max Bridson. Number 6, Cameron Howard. Number 7, Zach Verhoeven. Number 8, Tom O'Connor. Number 10 is Tapu Gura. Number 11, Kent Harrison. Number 12, Dylan Christopherson. Number 14 is Sam Donoghue. And number 15 is Varley Brandis. That's how their lineup will shape to start. They are coached by Shane Price. For Bell Swans, the home side. In goals, number 1, Kai Abrams. Number 2 is Ian Matthews. Number 3, Sam Kirk. Number 4, Adam Blunden. Number 5, Joe Cable. Number 8, Reece Newton. Number 9, Kane Wilson. Number 10, Drew Patterson, who will start up front alongside Wilson. Number 13, Kai Crane. And number 17, the Kiwi import in Alex Clayton. And number 18, Adam Woodbine. We're moments from kickoff as we see both teams coming out. Bell Swans in their standard yellow with green trim and green shorts. New Lambton in a navy blue Indigenous round kit, remembering that it is Northern New South Wales Indigenous round, recognising the contribution, and a wonderful contribution it is, of the Indigenous players and coaches and staff to our wonderful game. And it's something that's often well represented in other sports, Buttes, but it's great to see as we head to the end, so I was recognising that we've had some wonderful, Indigenous footballers come through this region, and Newcastle in particular. I know Jade North is one of those shining lights that often gets put up. Gemma Simon in the women's game, and there's plenty more.
Yeah, of course, Chris, and to be recognised in any code, I think, is really important, and the history is important as well, and the land we're playing on. I love the kit. It looks awesome today. I hope New Lambton can play well in it, to be honest.
Wouldn't that be something they might rock it for the rest of the season if they put in a strong performance here? And I like this, the Bell Swan's out over there in the distance as well. He's going to be up and about. We'll see how animated he is. I think it's a toss of a coin as to who's going to be more animated, him or Mick Stafford. We know Mick Stafford, he likes to be up and about here and urging his troops on. He's an animated guy who's very passionate about football. Yeah,
definitely. It's going to be an exciting, like I said, enthralling encounter. And look, let's hope the home side comes out strong as well. This is going to be a good battle. You mentioned 10v12. It may be a dogfight, definitely, but in most cases, the relegation battle is more exciting than the promotion battle, right? And who's at the top of the table. So today we have two teams that need 3 points. It's as simple as that. We have New Lambton kicking off at the moment. Expect the first 15 minutes to be pretty fiery.
I think it's going to be quite frenetic as well. It's going to be interesting to see. As we said, we're about to get underway. Match of the round, round 20, Indigenous round in the Northern New South Wales NPL here from Blacksmiths Oval. Live and free on the Northern New South Wales YouTube. Chris McPherson and Matt Butner bringing you all the action. And straight away, a lofted, driven ball from Brandis, looking to just pop it over the wing backs. Opportunity here, though, straight away for Christopherson trying to penetrate inside the 18-yard box. A misdirected header there from Woolston. Straight away they go the other way, Bell Swans. Woodbine, I thought he was going to line up a shot from distance there. Chips it into the box, headed on, just over the crossbar. Bell Swans absolutely making no mess of what they're intending to do here early, Buttes.
Yeah, positive signs, and yeah, left to right on your screen. It was just a little breakaway play through the middle there, a little slip from Tommy O'Connor, I believe, in the middle of the park, and the Bell Swans are trying to go fast and quickly early down that left side. Positive signs, good ball in, and yeah, that striker, well, he's searching for goals today.
And a very attacking lineup when you look at the likes of Woodbine and then Woolston and Patterson up top. Woolston was a leading scorer. That was a key part of their promotion coming up to the NPL, and it's easy to forget that Bell Swans kind of feel like a little bit of a fixture at the moment in the NPL as they try to thread the needle there from Woodbine, and he comes back across, gets another touch. This is their first season in 30 back in the top tier, and talking to Mick Stafford before the game, they've certainly got every intention of controlling their destiny, and they are well aware that it's well in their hands. While New Lambton know that they're going to need a bit of a favourable run with how far adrift they are at the bottom. And all of a sudden, here's Woodbine again. They push forward. Want to try and find the early blow. Sits wide for Cable. Headed away by Brandis. That was nice and calm at the back from the tall central defender. I'll get there eventually, Buttes.
No, again, positive start. Woodbine, plenty of touches on that left flank, and he's already put in a couple of good balls there, and good positive early signs from the home side. Looks like he's going to make his way over to the set piece as well on the left foot. And we mentioned a dogfight, Chris. One thing I've noticed this year, the Bell Swans, well, they have that dog attitude. They're really tough to come up against. So
certainly are. Woodbine now into the front post, and just a little bit too much curl on it will be a goal kick. And well, you touched on that. We did a bit of a preview of the run home on the Chris McPherson Show podcast earlier this week, and we talked about the fact that that's what's kept them in a lot of these games where they've managed to get points where some of the other lower teams haven't, and it's probably why they're sitting where they are rather than a little closer to New Lambton at the moment. Yeah,
I agree. And to be honest, when quality isn't shining and you may not have the budget or the players that you wish, that is, it's pretty typical, right? Hard work pays off. Hard work is going to beat talent any day of the week. So they've definitely tried to implement that.
Opportunity here now. Nice little tap on, but cleared away. Driven across the sideline by Clayton. Just shy of the corner flag.
Yeah, they've definitely tried to implement that as their core foundation here. And as I said, they had a really positive home run at the start of this season here at Blacksmiths. I'm sure they'd like to bring that kind of form back.
I think when you look at that game that kicked off our season, it was the first match of the round, and they came back from 2-1 down, and they just absolutely fired on all cylinders late in the game to get home 5-2 here against Adamstown. And you talked about that hard work beating talent. It's as Escalante comes all the way out of his box. Do we see a shot from range here? We do. Just wide. It was the right idea, just not quite on target. And you can see all Sam Escalante could do was just watch it fly over his head and hope for the best.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of confusion there from Escalante and Tommy O'Connor. The ball just sat up a little bit on the pitch. It was the right idea from the fullback. What was that, the midfielder for Black Swans? Not far off there.
Just listening to Kent Harrison having a bit of a chat there about one of the teammates already carrying an injury, which is not ideal for New Lambton. So we'll see where that plays out. Headed on, and then it's almost put into orbit in the clearance.
You also mentioned as well, Chris, we know New Lambton can score goals this season as well, and they've proved that on a number of occasions. They've only had the one win, but it's been very up front. They're leaking 48 goals conceded, unfortunately. So the games that they have scored, they just haven't been able to keep other sides out.
Yeah, I think that's the key as well. And you look at a lot of those games, and here we go. There is that player we're talking about. It's Zach Verhoeven. That's not going to help the cause of the Golden Eagles. A forced change very early in this game. And it will be Dre Acoch, it looks like, to go on.
Yeah, Verhoeven coming off. Looks a little bit disappointed, unfortunately. We've only just started this game, and you'd have to say he's one of New Lambton's most dangerous players as well.
Yeah, very frustrating for him. Obviously, he thought he was clear, and we were talking about this. Players when you're coming back from injury can be a little bit, false confidence when you go through trying to really replicate those first efforts, especially as New Lambton now cross it into the box. Watchful, couldn't quite get the full head on that. Then Dylan Christopherson. It was the right idea. but just couldn't control it back towards goal. Did like Kai Abrams just looked nice and calm and composed. There was no panic. He just sort of came across, and another player down for New Lambton. They're dropping like flies early here.
Jago Hollard is down the right flank. He's calling for assistance now. That's 2 in a matter of minutes, Chris.
Yeah, you don't like to laugh at injury, but it's almost some Benny Hill sort of stuff, isn't it? It's a bit humorous, and unfortunately it seems to be the thing sometimes with sides, and we're talking about it off air as well. You know, injuries, discipline, all these things start to fall apart when winning's not happening. And New Lambton, unfortunately, one of the records they do lead the league in outside of, you know, goals shipped is red cards. You know, we called the game perplexed as to how they didn't actually win that game. They were really strong in that game, but just couldn't close out over the 90 minutes. And that man that's just gone off after a little bit of treatment and is down on the other side, Jago Hollett. Just an awkward red card. He just reflex put his hand up on the goal line. So, you know, without knowing the nature of all of them, it's hard to really judge. But when they're sort of sitting representing, I think, somewhere around the 40% of the red cards given out in the league, that's probably got to be something that I'm sure Shane Price would love to have a do-over on. Yeah,
of course. It's not a nice percentage or stat to hold on a club at all. Especially with the season they have had, it's just adding salt to the wound a little bit.
The one thing that New Lambton would know, though, with the games they've got remaining, and again, we touched on it when we sort of looked at that run home, they've got if they could get 3 points here, which isn't beyond the realm of possibility, they've got Adamstown twice, a bit of momentum there as well. All of a sudden, those 9 points, if they manage to get them, and again, I know it's a big stretch for a team that's only won once, would get them to 15 points, which would actually set them in front of Adamstown. So, whilst a lot of it are assuming, and I'm certainly one of those, as Cable goes into the 18-yard box here, crosses it in dangerously. Again, Brandis the man there and just drives it back over the line. And we are going to see another change here. Giles Harrison comes on for Jago Hollett. So 2 of the rotations already used for New Lambton, and you see the frustration.
Yeah, immediately, and both right side players as well, unfortunately. Right back and right wing for New Lambton.
Ball sitting about awkwardly in the box. I can feel Shane Price's blood pressure rising from here. Who'd be a coach?
Not me.
Yeah, no. And those luscious locks would be falling out very quickly, I reckon, mate. If you took up coaching.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that or that goes grey as my beard's starting to turn.
One of the two. First.
Still amazing when you look at some of the coaches like Dave Tanchevsky. He's still got a nice full head of hair.
Yeah, I mean.
I was going to say, you probably can't comment on that.
No comment.
We'll talk about a coach, it's not yours.
I just want to mention as well there, Chris, we've seen a feature of Bell Swans play all season. When they get into that front third and they win a throw-in in a good space, they look to go for that long throw-in. And we saw it once already. I know a game that we had called previously this year, I believe against the Jaffas, and they had put one on 1-0 to the Jaffas. The game finished 1-1, but they're going to continue to apply that pressure through a throw-in because they've got big bodies up front. In fact, they've got big bodies all around the field, so that's a really tough thing for New Lambton to deal with as well.
Yeah, there's 2 sides I've noticed do it quite well, and Bell Swans is one. The other is Charles Centre 0 with it. And they've got that, you know, the body shapes. You know, Charles Centre used the likes of Tyrone Cousins in there. Obviously, with Patterson now adding to this side. You've got Christopherson racing forward, but cleanly dealt with by Sam Kirk. And you throw in Reece Newton as well. They've got plenty of size and height, as you say. They can position up into that box and, you know, just aim for heads, bring it to feet, and then almost rely a little bit, you know, on a bit of skill and a bit of lottery luck.
Yeah, that's right. And it can be, you know, a bit of a headache for defenders as well. It's just really hard to deal with. I know myself being in there throwing, just with heavy bodies in and around the area, it's always difficult. So I expect that to be a feature of today's game for Bell Swans.
Great work there from Kent Harrison to earn the corner. Mick Stafford disagreed with that from about 60 metres away, but I think the referee actually got that one right this time. Yeah, Brandis, you think it'd be one of the likely targets here. Maybe Caleb Reed as well, the 2 bigger bodies. Lofted in, well taken. Kai Abrams just comes out, takes it calm and composed. A nice strong call. Woodbine, nice little control and tap on. Tries to get the head to it, but it's brought down and now cleared forward. The sweeping defenders do the job for now. And Matthews feeds it down the line. Woodbine inside looking for a ball. Chip forward looking for Patterson. Escalante's going to come out and retrieve it.
We're also just talking just then, Chris, about New Lambton's run into the end of the season, I guess. If they win today, they've got winnable games coming up. I know it's been a difficult season. They've only won one of 17. But if they get some sort of form, we know how important that is at this time of the year.
What a story it'd be if they did somehow, what has seemed for the last probably 10 weeks like a fait accompli, if they did stave it off, and that then builds into the belief that the team has as they head towards 2026. I had to think about what year it was there for a second. And again, that sets a very different tone versus going down and having to, undoubtedly there'll be a number of these players who would want to go and look for other NPL clubs. As Harrison feeds the ball in, well picked off. Newton now feeding it down. Cable drives it into the back of the heels of Woolston. He wasn't quite on the turn and ready for it. Brandis into the midfield now for Howard. Nice footwork there, Gura. Cable does well there just to play that to the advantage of a teammate. Brandis is going to track back here, under pressure from Woolston. Escalante had to come out and dive for it. It's effective at the moment from New Lambton, but it wouldn't be filling their dugout with much confidence, some of these back passes and nervy moments.
No, not at all. I mean, how many can you get away with as the numbers start to stack up a little bit? I like the brand of football New Lambton try to play. They really try to play through the lines.
They do, yeah.
And we'll see how this plays out now.
Aycock couldn't quite get it.
They really try to play a nice brand of football, which is great. And they're trying to play through the lines, use their midfield, and then go out to players like Ken Harrison and, well, the man that went off, unfortunately, Verhoeven. They like to use the flanks as well with their fullbacks. Play off the set piece as well, but you'd have to say Bell Swans probably taken a different approach in terms of their football aspect.
Yeah, I've had the fortune of calling New Lambton probably 4 times this season, and every time there's good periods of football from them. There's undoubtedly the core of a good football team here. It's just about them actually being able to execute that for 90 minutes, which, it sounds like a really simple challenge, but it's not that easy being at that level, especially with how young a lot of their players are. It's, trying to do that physically against men consistently as Brandis comes away with the ball, takes it, Reed feeds it on. That can be the real challenge, and I'm sure you see that as, probably being on the younger end of the spectrum of NPL footballers. Yeah, definitely. Well, you can play passages of good football, but as soon as your head goes down, if you concede a goal or something goes against the run of play, and New Lambton have got such a young side, they just haven't been able to play a 90-minute game this year. Christopherson arranging pass for Aycock. Nice ball down the line, looking to be crossed in. Not quite the right direction in the end from Harrison. The two early substitutes connecting there. And that's going to mean, obviously, Shane Price would have had a bit of a plan here. You normally come in, thinking, okay, if the game's playing out, one of, a couple of ways, this is how my substitutes are going to work. Again, we're probably going to see him then forced to make some changes at half-time because he's only going to have one rotation of changes left with the 3 lots that they can do outside of the breaks, which again changes the game plan a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there in terms of managing the fatigue, and I'm sure the scoreline will play a large part in that. Matthews just prods it forward into the New Lambton player in Aycock and earns himself a throw. Of course, we get to the business end of the season. We've got a couple of other games in play, and heading into half-time, Lambton 4, Valentine 0. So the Jaffers on to a flyer. I tell you what, your side struggled to score goals this season. They're making up for it this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the first game this season they've scored more than 3 goals, I believe.
They've got it done in the first half, and Charlestown and Cooks Hill heading into half-time, 0-all, both sides that, maybe not desperately, but certainly, again, when we're looking at that, they were 2 sides that really need to start winning. Charlestown, I think the stat we pulled out, 2 wins since Easter.
Yeah. Yep, they're definitely on a little bit of a slippery slope, unfortunately, and a team that's been riddled with injuries, and they don't have that depth off the bench just to rotate and get players on the field and playing.
I think there was a stat with them a couple of weeks ago. They had something like 6 of their first choice 11 they had at the start of the season not available. So, I mean, you think about that with any club. Once you start pulling 6 of your depth players in, then the depth players are no longer that are on that bench are no longer the players you're looking at. They're normally, genuinely, middle tier reserve grade players, which is a big ask for them to step up late in the season against players that have got 15 games of NPL football under their belt or more.
Yeah, of course. And on the other side of the spectrum, Cooks Hill, we mentioned that on the Chris McPherson show as well. The importance of their results over the next couple of weeks. They have a big backlog, and obviously the Australia Cup coming up. Like they are in contention for finals football, but they have to start winning games.
Good ball out. The ball was quicker than everyone there. It was the right idea, and you can see they like to play, as you touched on before, they like to sort of bring it down through the centre of midfield and then switch it to width. And Harrison working overtime, their leading scorer in season 2025, 5 goals to his name. Former Emerging Jets product. Abrams underhits that. Christopherson plays it back off. Reed tries to switch it for Acoch, but misdirected. Matthews now lofts it, looking for Woodbine. Reed's there though, picks it off again. Well pushed across, and the pressure from Newton just forces the ball out of play. Clayton will take the throw to Cable. He's double teamed defensively though, and Harrison comes away with it. Feeds it forward looking for Christopherson, but can't find the target. Brightson will lay it off now for Matthews. Addison feeds it in nicely to Woodbine at the top of the 18-yard box, controls it well around one. Goes around the second, but it's going to spill across for a goal kick.
Yeah, positive play from Bell Swans there. Started on the right flank here, and they're playing through the lines out to the left. Slick little move, and he's the danger man as well. Woodbine on his left foot, probably just got away from him there in the box, but some more promising signs from Bell Swans. They haven't had too much territory in the last 5 minutes or so in this half.
It's certainly, now that they've settled into their new look 11, we'll call it, with those 2 early injuries, are certainly looking like they're right in this fight. A little bit of a clip there from Craner. Opportunity from dead ball, just over halfway. Not quite the execution they would have looked for. Cable stretching with a little prod. And Gura and Woodbine come together, and Gura will get the throw. No, Reed will take the throw. Gura's there. Choose a different option. Cam Howard pops it back for Reed. Dropping it all the way back to defence. Connor gets it back. Works with Brandis. Interesting with their most experienced player. Gone across the line there. Assistant referee does. Yeah, I think you lose a little bit not having Tom O'Connor going forward as much from the defensive midfield, where he's probably his preferred role, but also understand that he's the next man up, I guess, with the experience of Piddington out there to anchor the defence.
Yeah, definitely. I think Tommy O'Connor in a middle of the field will have to do a job at the back.
Be relegated to be quite Connor. There's a good strong run. All laid off for Cable. We'll touch on there. Newton drives it forward looking for Patterson, but Patterson was flat-footed, and Reed comes away. He'll try and work down the line. Does keep it in. The other way. Reed with the throw. Harrison gets ahead to it. Craner brings it down. Cable's there. Not at all happening here at Blacksmiths. We've got the megaphone and the chants from the New Lambton faithful travelling out.
Yeah, this is awesome. The Swan was out before. The megaphone's out.
This is what suburban NPL football is about, right? Like playing at these grounds. Yeah. It's a little bit unusual. The crowd hasn't built as early because we didn't have the reserve grade fixture first. It'll be nice for the reserve grade boys. Hopefully plenty of people hang around and watch their game.
Yeah, we expect it to fill up a little bit, especially as we get into that half-time second half.
Good healthy crowd on a Saturday afternoon.
The conditions really are good for football this afternoon as well. A bit of cloud cover at the moment, but the temperature's just fine.
All driven forward. Somewhat dealt with. Matthews now has to track back, and a little fortunate there that he got a deflection off Acock. You can see just in front of us here in our commentary position, though, exactly why they came first today. Even though the field looks immaculate and dry, he's just starting to get a little bit chopped in certain patches where there's been a lot of traffic early. They're going to play down here for Bell Swans. That Woodbine down on the ground. It is. A bit of banter going between the benches as well. It's nice little afternoon here at Blacksmiths.
No, it's nice. It's flowing.
Both sides in both dugouts, I guess, trying to enjoy as much as they can what is a fairly serious occasion.
Yeah, after the rush of blood, Shane Price early with 2 forced injuries. He's actually taken a seat now, and he's.
Yeah, I think he's probably realised that there's only so much you can control from the dugout. Again, that's why I couldn't be a coach, Matt. It's yeah, it would be very tough for me not to have any input and control. I'm sure you're having that challenge at the moment, being out injured and not being able to, when your side wasn't starting the season as well as you might have liked. You would have loved to have been out there and having some sort of influence on it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, no one likes to be a part of something that they can't control.
Here's O'Connor now. They're hanging off him. You don't want to give him too much space because he'll start to go forward as he does here. Takes on the space. Reed. Sit to the top of the 18-yard box. It's spilled down. Not quite what they're looking for. Woolston and O'Connor come shoulder to shoulder. The referee happy to play on. Newton tries to thread it down, and we're going to come all the way back. I thought it was reasonably innocuous, but the referee was watching it and was in a lot better position than us.
You mentioned Tommy O'Connor earlier, Chris, being one of those more consistent players for New Lambton, and of course that top goal scorer for them as well, Ken Harrison. You just always seem to notice when I'm watching the game, he does the real hard yards getting back defensively as a winger, which is really impressive. You always, as a fullback myself, you always want a winger who's going to come and do his job, his output forward as well.
He's another one of those players, a couple of games I've called them, he's had to play at the head of attack for them, and I think to that point he is naturally, a winger and a good one, and so the fact that they've now got Christopherson back to play at the top of their attack and that frees Harrison up, it's a better look for them. I'm sure they'd love to have Piddington back in there and be able to free up Tommy O'Connor, and if you have both those guys, all of a sudden it's a very different sort of look. Brandis now. He's got some size. Goes that man O'Connor. He sees space in front of him, and again, he's happy to travel, happy to work the ball. Lays it off. Howard now for Reed. Reed thinks about taking on Cable, decides better of it and drops it back into the pocket for Howard. Harrison there working centrally now, overtouches that. We've just given him a wrap, and that's always the way it works. Woodbine for Patterson. Patterson off the outside of the right, looking for Matthews. Acock, though, wins out. Matthews, good strength. Pops it back. Speaking of working, look at that work from Drew Patterson coming all the way back from the front. to make sure he's presenting an option to help out his team when they're under pressure.
Reset, go again, come on!
Yeah, just heard the words from McStafford, but it's a pretty disciplined defensive block at the moment from Bell Swans.
So here's Craner there. He's on a roller coaster, Mick Stafford. 1 minute things are going well, 1 minute things aren't, and he's pretty open in his feedback both ways. Brandis now. It's interesting watching this attacking unit for Bell Swans. As I said, it was Woolston and Patterson that start up top, and then Patterson switched out with Woodbine, and they just rotate the three of them almost seamlessly, which makes it really hard to mark up. Now cross into the box. Harrison advancing dangerously. It spills to the back post for Reed. Strong cover tackle there. Sliding in was Sam Kirk and dispensed with the danger.
Yeah, crucial intervention there. Sorry, Chris, I've just cut you off, but opening the score there.
Certainly was. It would have been one-on-one with Abrams, and he was coming back across from the other side. Kirk read it well. It was a high-risk manoeuvre, but it was last line of defence. It's what he needed to do. Abrams just takes that, just under the crossbar. He comes out. He looks like he's putting absolutely everything behind it. He ends up both feet off the ground when he's kicking. Reed and Woodbine getting tangled up there. I have a sneaking suspicion that might have been a little bit of experience from Adam Woodbine, maybe selling that a little bit more by how they engaged their arms. Once they were tangled, he really locked them in.
Yeah, well, it definitely looked like that, right?
But that's smart football. At the end of the day, some people might not like it, but you know, if you go full European variety of football, players play for fouls. Sometimes it's using a bit of wisdom and nous to get yourself the opportunity.
And they've got themselves a good opportunity here to put a good ball in.
Into the box. Patterson gets ahead to it. Patterson comes in, collides with Howard. It's cleared away partially by O'Connor. Cable pops it in the box, parried away. Gura just again. That's the third or fourth foot of the corner flag. It's been the defence. Before Clayton will wind up, the former Wellington Phoenix Reserves player will go the long throw, lofts it in, it hangs in the air. Gura heads it. Harrison, Craner comes around, takes it from his boots, chips it to the back post. Patterson's there, just above the crossbar. He was not far away, the American, from opening the scoring.
Not far off at all there, and that's the man that you want to find in the air. Significantly taller than most players on the field. It was a nice little ball dink to the back stick.
I know it's a cliche, but he does move very well for a big guy. Like, he saw that opportunity was there, backpedaled himself, got him into just a half a step of space. And when you've got his height advantage, you don't need much just to get that head to the ball, and he wasn't far away at all. And no disrespect to Sam Escalante, but I think he had him beat if it did just sort of drift into that top corner.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Chris. And again, although that long throw wasn't off that first phase play, it was that second phase after where a lot of teams will think that they've dealt with the problem, but then the wave just comes again, right?
It does. They get those numbers forward. They do well at tracking back as well, but getting those numbers forward, and as I said, it's almost, again, you don't want to take away from the tactical nous of it, but it's almost creating that lottery situation of a ball, you know, bouncing about in the 18-yard box. It creates opportunities, whether by absolute design or execution, or whether just a little bit of good fortune and positioning. That's what it comes down to. And at the end of the day, I'm sure in a game like this that has so much meaning to it, neither coach will be too concerned about what the goals look like if they get them. Matthews looks for the long ball down again. They're targeting Patterson. O'Connor gets up above him. Wolfson goes aerial as well. Can't get it. It falls out in front almost for Acoch, but Matthews, you talk about that. I think the term you used before was that the dog. Matthews, just the grind and hustle from him every time. It looks like Acoch has got him beaten, and then he just pulls it, an effort from somewhere to just get a step in front.
Yeah, and the deeper and deeper we go into this game, I think it's going to be down to individual battles and who's going to have that lapse in concentration. We know these sides, again, have conceded plenty of goals this year, so there could be goals coming.
Oh. Watching Reed drawn into just parrying across the line, and a great result for Bell Swans. And but we talked in the intro about, you know, all the goals that this game could promise. Start talking about that, and you know, there'll be a 1-0, a 1-1, or maybe a 2-1 at best. So we'll wait and see. But both sides, as we said, have the ability to score. Both have the ability to concede. And when you look through these games for both these teams, both when they score and when they concede, it's quite often successive and in quick fashion. We saw that game we called against Valentine. Lambton led 2-1 deep in the game just before stoppage time, and then somehow conceded one just before stoppage time and one in stoppage time to be defeated. Just left that one. Harrison heads it forward. Looking, but as we watch across the line. Connor, nice and vociferous, trying to inspire his team with the captain's armband on. Now it spills across. Brydson plays it back. Gura sits back to O'Connor. This time it sits nicely. Christopherson out there.
I just mentioned for the Bell Swans in their front three, just being able to move around from the top line left to right. That flexibility.
Defensive work. Joe Cable turns it over. The counter attack coming, feeds the ball, looking for Woodbine. Just a slight deflection. Yeah, both sides rotating those attacking players, and again, you know, as a guy who plays in defence, as we see the ball lofted through for Harrison, can he get a control on it? The offside flag goes up. As I was saying, that makes things much more challenging when you're looking up and all of a sudden there's a different guy on your back. You've got to be assessing what his strengths are. You know, you're winning a battle, as Matthews was, for pace out there. And then all of a sudden you look up and there's someone different, and, you know, they might have a yard of pace on you, so all of a sudden you've got to readjust what you're playing.
Well, yeah, especially as a fullback, right? If I'm coming up against a winger and I know he's predominantly right foot and they want to switch wingers, I'm on a left winger with a left foot now. Suddenly, if I don't react quick enough, he's going to get me on the inside, or he might take me up the line, and I'm wrong-footed suddenly. So it's important that you have that kind of dynamic in the front line.
Patterson dropping it back. Craner now. Here's Matthews on it. Back to Patterson. Just trying to work some of the New Lambton defence. Clayton calling for the switch. Newton's there. Holds on. Doesn't deliver.
Very deep block by New Lambton at the moment. You'd have to say both sides, even Bell Swans, I mentioned it earlier, the discipline defensively. It'd have to be both coaches making sure either side know that they don't want to be the first one to concede today, because it's going to be tough to get back into it.
Certainly is. They go all the way back here. Esquilart's going to drive it, and so that's only going to land now. Commentary position. Clayton with the throw now. Clayton goes long, looking for Woodbine. He's wrapped up by Brandis. It falls nicely for Woolston, though. Woodbine gets it inside the 18-yard box, comes down to Boots, but they break away with it. Brydson comes. Laid on Acoch. Little mistouch, but then Matthews again. He's certainly winning the points battle between those two so far today. Reed advancing on. Howard. He's got Christopherson there. He's got Reed behind, and that's where he goes. Gura. You've got to take your hat off to these young fans from New Lambton, and they've been chanting non-stop. It's A-League levels of active support in terms of the effort, that's for sure.
Well, they got the megaphone, they got the drums.
Again, as I said, it's a solid crowd, but it's not bursting at the seams here at Blacksmiths, but that's giving a little bit of atmosphere. And I'm sure Gura, that's not the shot he wanted. He came over the top of it. Mick Stafford just asking his team to maybe control possession a little bit more rather than just trying to play on immediately. Looked across, and Craner does well, gets a boot to it, and then it's parried across by Blunden, and it'll go for a corner now. Opportunity for New Lambton here.
Yeah, it was a good little passage of play there from New Lambton, Chris, and it's been the feature of this game thus far. They want to go down the flanks and get balls into that box, into that danger area. We just saw one coming from the left, another to the right. Now they've been rewarded with a corner.
Drifted in, deep, little header down and off the line. The flag goes up. I was going to say Ken Harrison was well advanced there. He's claiming that it was touched back by Bell Swans. But the assistant referee in good position and makes the call, and Bell Swans' blemish is saved. I thought Harrison had his 6th of the season there for a split second. Long drive from Abrams. Newton goes up. Gura gets the head to it. Howard plays wide. Christopherson dispossessed. Clayton for Cable. Cable a heavy touch, but manages to retain it. Then gets a little nudge on his way through from Howard, and I think Gura was about to do something similar.
Yeah, positive play from Cable there. Just stretching the legs. Probably a bit unfortunate that he got taken out there, because it looked like he was going to keep running up the flank.
He's dangerous on those driving runs. He can really create some indecision and danger. It's been a good pickup from them. I think Mid-North Coast, Macleay Valley last year, so joining the club here. That one Clayton, right at 5% off.
New Lambton happy to play out from the back. Bell Swans happy to get it out of their half. Which one will prove to be more effective, we'll continue to find out as this game unfolds.
It's these times late in the half where you start to see the fatigue and the indecision start to creep up, which errors create opportunity. A little overhit there from Reed. Clayton for Cable. He gets a good touch. Probably fortunate to get that call there. Incensed by the call. Kurt drives it long, looking for Woolston. He can't get the head to it. Clayton will come and clean up. Plays it forward for Newton, who goes wide to Cable. Cable looking for Woodbine, who's just slid over. And thinking about just not holding true as he tried to take off from it. The players.
It's definitely getting a little bit more vocal on the pitch, and between the two coaching staff as well as we approach that half-time mark. And you just mentioned, Chris, and I've said it a couple of times in the games, these 5 minutes leading into the and full-time mark.
Ball into the box, it spills away. Can Patterson get a shot here? Tries to get well defended. Giles Harrison, he's come off the bench and he's had a good impact there.
Yeah, massive block, and needed to be. But yeah, these are the last 5 minutes or so where you need to stay switched on.
Interesting to see Alex Clayton coming across here. I feel like the megaphone's going to turn his way. Again, Patterson sitting around the penalty spot. Cable sweeping around the back to clean up the crumbs. Newton and Woolston in tight to the goalkeeper inside the 6-yard box. Harrison, the big body at the front for headed off the line. Is that Harrison at the back post? Well done. The defensive organisation's been good for both sides so far. Cable, more like a rugby league hit up than anything else from those two then, but just shows the want that's there from both these sides. shot didn't have enough sting in it to really threaten the goals. Feel it's starting to open up a little bit here. Ball overhitting across the sideline, and Bell Swans will have a throw in front of
I mean, just a little bit of a lazy pass there out the left side, and again, I can't help but look at the defensive lines of Bell Swans when New Lambton have the ball. It looks like it's going to be really tough to break down.
Does Walston under pressure from Brandis, prods it out in front, a bit of space for Patterson on the edge of the 18-yard box on the left. Has he got options there? He comes all the way back. Matthews is there. He's got Newton with him, but he chips it towards the back post looking for Cable, and Reed, a misdirected header, works out okay. Christopherson plays it back infield, and Howard now. Kirk intercepts it, feeds Cable. Craner's there. He's got Clayton with him. It comes off Reed's legs. Clayton lofts it into the box looking for Patterson. He controls it with the right, tries to shoot with the left. Woodbine on the volley to the wide to the left. Happy to take touches in the box, Bell Swans, and then try and set up for the strike. They just haven't quite managed to get them on target as yet.
The home side just tightening the screws at the moment as we head into half-time. It's those big bodies up front for Bell Swans that are going to score their goals, but ultimately they want the ball in that 18-yard box.
Certainly do. Update from Arthur Eden Oval, and it is 5-0 Lambton leading that one. They're going to go about increasing their goal tally for the season by about 50% at this rate. Buttes, they're flying.
Yeah.
Good time of year to be starting to score, though.
Yeah, massively. Again, form is so important at this time of the year, and you know, looking like one of the form sides at the moment. At this point, it's 3 clean sheets in a row as well.
But he can't be asking for a pay rise next season.
No doubt.
Threaded forward here. Opportunity for a strike from range. Well clear of the crossbar. I think Kai Abrams had a moment of nerves there, but was watchful in the end. As we head into the final 2 minutes of regulation time of the first half here at Blacksmith.
He didn't have bad shape on that one, Chris. And they actually haven't had that much ball, New Lambton, on the edge of the box. Around that 20-25 yard mark. A lot of it's gone down the flanks, but I think Hugh Brown was pretty surprised that he had so much time on the ball then. Would have liked his chance again. Just going around the grounds also, Charlestown and Cooks Hill. It was 0-0 at half-time, currently 1-1.
Still half an hour or so to go there, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays. As we said, crucial if either side can take 3 points.
Yeah, draw won't do any favours.
No, you certainly feel, especially Cooks Hill. I know they've got extra games in play, but a lot of challenging games we talked about on that run home show. There's now Gura. That's the great thing. I was talking with Mick Stafford before, and he's talking about, you know, you go back a few seasons when we didn't have relegation, and every team's got something to play for at the moment with between 4 and 6 games to play, which is so exciting. You know, a side like Cooks Hill, realistically, if they had a great run, can make the top 5. If they have a horrible run, they could be knocking on the door of the relegation playoffs. So just shows what a wonderful season we're having. All of a sudden, Harrison takes a strike and just over the crossbar. Was there a touch on it? No, there wasn't. We'll have a goal kick, and Kai Abrams is certainly getting kept busy. We also touched on the Northern League as well, and the fact that mathematically at the moment, 4th and 10th, which is last place South Cardiff, are only separated by 6 points. So South Cardiff, who are sitting 10th with 3 games to go, could still make the promotion playoffs. That's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, that is amazing. And yeah, keep your eyes glued onto that competition as well, because we've got 1 automatic relegation, then we have the playoff finals.
Yeah, which will see 2nd, 3rd and 4th from the Northern League 1 going to semi-finals. So I think 2nd and 3rd will play each other in the playoff semi-final. And the second last, or the 11th place team in the NPL, will play off against the 4th place team as Woodbine thinks about a strike from about 25 out. Lays it off, Craner. Looking for options, has to go backwards to Newton. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Looking forward to getting to call that playoff final, actually, as this one is a shot from range, doesn't threaten Escalante too much. It'll be another game on top of not just all your first and reserve grade men's and women's NPL games. We'll also have the playoff final. We'll have, what else have we got coming up? We've got the State Cup and the Community Plate next week, Butts, I think, at Adamstown Oval, so that'll be exciting as well.
Correct.
You on those ones with me?
Yes, I am.
Looking forward to that. I think Northern Storm from just north of Coffs Harbour come up against Crowders Bay United in the Community Plate, and then Western and Cooks Hill in the State Cup. So one of those clubs will, on Cooks Hill, it'll be certainly their first silverware in recent memory if they can win it. But for Western, it's been a while between drinks, so nice to see a changing of the guard to somewhat there.
Yeah, still plenty more football to cover.
Certainly is. As we said, this round and another 3 full rounds, but plenty of catch-up games. With those games, then we go into the finals. As we head through into stoppage time here. At the referee's discretion, not long. He has a look at his watch. And then, of course, to wrap up the season, once we get through all the finals and the grand finals, we've then got the Northern New South Wales Select in the men's and the women's versus the Newcastle Jets as well. So that's going to be great to have on the calendar.
Yeah, and how exciting. I think that's, you know, from a player's perspective, something that I know a lot of boys have been keen to be a part of for a long time. So,
is that why you were testing out your knee recently, mate? You know, just put your hand up, eligible, come off the bench.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, it's scoreless here at half-time at the break, and you can see the tension in every pass. Both sides have certainly had some glimpses. Ken Harrison, we thought, had scored. Drew Patterson's been influential and busy again for Bell Swans, but neither's truly grabbed control. And you feel like, Butts, the fear of losing is almost hanging as thick as the opportunity of winning.
Yeah, I agree. And I've mentioned it a couple of times this half. Both sides defensively very disciplined. You'll see either side sitting in a very deep block. No one's really jumping out of the line trying to make any sort of play.
That's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good. yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good.
Welcome back to Blacksmith's Oval for the second half of the round 20 Northern New South Wales NPL match of the round, and we're all tied up at the break in Indigenous round, 0-0, Bell Swans and New Lambton. Plenty on the line here, and the sun has recognised the occasion. It's come out to bless us, and I'll tell you what, Sam Esquilar's probably got the best spot out there. He's got the shade at the southern end, northern end. I've got my geography around the wrong way, Matt Butner.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's the only piece of shade on the field at the moment, and as you said, the sun's come out. The conditions look immaculate at the moment for what I hope is a great second half. Obviously 0-0 at the moment. No massive chances from either side. we were actually just speaking, it was quite a conservative approach almost from both sides. Very disciplined defensively, but we know both sides need 3 points. It's a very interesting kickoff tactic there.
Up and under, Cam Munster style bomb from Origin. Patterson gets ahead to it, brings it to his foot. Kirk. It's been interesting to be a fly on the wall with 2 changes, I feel.
Yeah, it would have been very interesting. You know, both coaches, I'm sure, plenty to say. I'm trying to inspire both of their teams to have a really positive start in this second half.
We talked about the changes that New Lambton were forced to make in the first half as Tom O'Connor tries to shepherd this one. Woodbine takes a strike and Esquilan almost does the splits in parrying it away with his right boot. No changes at half-time for New Lambton, so sticking with those players. Obviously the legs fresh enough, and as much as there was some end-to-end football, because of that defensive pressure, it wasn't a really frenetic pace, so it probably played into their hands a little in terms of just managing the fatigue. This will be interesting trying to spot this for these defenders. Esquilant, the goalkeeper, should be okay though. The sun away from him. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. A little bit of... I was going to say, there's no real issue there with pressure on the goalkeeper because it's a New Lambton player in front of the goalkeeper. Clayton crosses this deep. Headed back across the box. Newton gets up to it off the shoulder. The goalkeeper goes down, but the ball misses the target.
Yeah, pretty good execution there, hitting the back stick to their number 9, Wilston, and it was just a matter of who climbed highest. I almost thought Newton was going to get on the end of that then.
It might come off the shoulder in the end. It wasn't really cleanly won by either player, and I missed what happened to Sam Esquilant, but he ended up tangled in the back of the net like a lobster caught in an offshore fishing net.
Well said.
O'Connor gets ahead to it. Gura. Volleys continue. Newton, now it comes to ground. Woodbine gets a little clip afterwards. No, the referee says play on.
A game that has to be, you'd say, won by New Lambton today. 3 points as a minimum to try and get themselves out of relegation battle. What do you think of the answers, Chris?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I think they've just got to put a bit of chance to the wind. They've got absolutely everything to gain, and as bizarre as it sounds when they're sitting where they are at the moment, they've got not a lot to lose by having a loss versus a draw. 1 point's not going to be a whole lot of help to them. They sit 8 points adrift, and their goal difference is significantly inferior. 12 goals different to that of Adamstown in front of them. And as we touched on, if they get 3 points here today, all of a sudden they played Adamstown twice, and those 2 games, again, a stretch, but they need to be alive going into those for those that have any significance. And a drop here today would mean then that they essentially need to win all 3 of their remaining games and hope that Adamstown don't get any other points in their 2 clashes. So it's a peculiar sort of setup for them. I feel like maybe there might be some numbers starting to push forward as we get to sort of the 75th and 80th minute mark, and maybe just moving away from that low block, turning to some counter-attack possibly, but we'll see. And working it backwards at the moment. O'Connor's there. Thinks about switching the point of attack, feeds it through to Howard, who prods one back to Brandis. He gets it moving. Reed. A battle of Reed and Cable on that side's been good to watch so far. Reed pulls it up, drops it back into the defensive unit, and all the way back to Brandis again. Giles Harrison's got some space over here. Gura's racing to keep this ball. Under pressure, shepherded across the line. Patterson. Woodbine and Patterson. Patterson, a nice little touch away from Harrison. Kai Craner. I was going to say he's gone to Reece Newton. Reece Newton lets it pass and goes back to Sam Kirk, who feeds it down to the right to Cable. A nice turn away from one and tries to accelerate away from Reed. Gets a nice little touch. I'm not sure it's quite what he was looking to execute. And then the forward ball just a little too heavy. The right idea, that's looking more promising from the Swans.
Yeah, a little slick movement there from Cable. 1 or 2 players left in his wind and probably just overcooked it a little bit to Woodbury there.
It's interesting when you watch him. There's a couple of times there where he looked like he'd outrun the ball, and he's just got rangy legs. He just manages to control it and pull it back. His close quarters control is quite good, even when he's moving at a fair clip through the defence. Escalante drives this long and right. Howard gets a little head on it. A Koch. Patterson takes it away. Newton tries to prod it down the line, and Howard drives it over the sideline. I think that's going to end up in the creek. Matthews with the throw. Goes long, looking for Patterson. Harrison and Patterson go together. Patterson comes away with it. Can't pull it in before the byline, though. Giles Harrison does enough just to close it down. Tom O'Connor asking the question, but I think the referee was fair in letting them both go as they're hanging on to each other. Almost full time. We get the update from the correspondent around the grounds at Arthur Ed and Harry Scobie. It's 5-0 there still. Looks like the Jaffers are just sealing that one off.
It's a massive win for the Jaffers. Again, we mentioned it, probably the most goals they've scored this season, and that's... Oh, we'll see how this plays out.
Here for Walson. Can he chip the keeper? He does. It's not on target yet. Goes into the back of Howard. O'Connor, sorry. What's he going to say here? He's going to say a foul, and look, I think as a neutral, I think that's probably a fair call there. O'Connor was tracking back. Whether he's actually getting to the ball is another question, but got a nudge in the back as Wilson tried to tap that home.
Yeah, something out of nothing there from the Bell Swans, and I think that's a fair call from the referee again as a neutral. But yeah, it was a really good attacking reign there, and it's been transition moments for Bell Swans, which have been good. We're just going around the grounds as well. We just mentioned Lambton 5-0 comfortable, but Charlestown Azuri, they've got a red card at the moment, 82nd minute, and they're down to Cooks Hill 2-1.
And Cooks just going ahead in the 80th minute. That's a key one for both those sides, as we said, and 3 points keeps Cooks Hill alive, and it's the first of, maybe a couple of nails in the coffin of Charlestown that they won't want to see.
Well, yeah, you won the clock back 3 weeks ago, and they were sitting pretty comfortable in 4th place, and now they're at risk of falling out of the 5 and 6.
Yeah, well, I think that when you start to have a look, depending on some other results this weekend, well, with Lambton winning, Lambton will go into 5th, and Charlestown will drop out if the results say the same. And what it'll actually do is it'll put Cooks Hill within 3 points of Charlestown as well. And Olympic, if they could somehow upset Edgeworth, could also overtake Azuri if the results say the same. So could see them drop down as low as 7th and on a bit of a slide, Charlestown. That's a very heavy challenge. Maurice Newton. Giles Harrison was already on the ground after sliding in, and then Newton came in and, unsurprisingly, shown a yellow card.
Well, yeah, it's the first card of the game, and it's getting a little bit more vocal now. Mick Stafford, well, he's been on his feet all day today, but he's definitely letting the referee know his voice is being heard.
Just listening to Matthew Ingham on the bench, I think he's trying to explain to the fourth official it should have been a red card. I'm not sure he wants to do that. A bit of a debate going on. So you got the player and the ball. And because it was studs up, it was a yellow. Had it just been player, it probably would have been red. So fortunately he got some of the ball as this is sliced into the box dangerously. It spills out. Matthews can't quite clear it. Abrams comes and cleans up the crumbs.
Wow, some ball from Brown then. He's in a really good area. Just landed on that 6-yard box.
Just scything in there.
This is when you Lambton have to be careful now. The transition moments Tommy O'Connor dealt with.
It was wonderfully sliced in. It looked so dangerous. And everyone just, it's one of those balls that just sliced across so hard that everyone was just sort of sitting and watching and waiting to see where it landed. And now all of a sudden they've got a spring in their step. They're pushing forward. We talked about the numbers going. Matthews gets ahead to it. Patterson with a little touch back inside. Beats Brandis. Got two there in the box. Patterson will go himself, takes a strike. Well, trying to get a strike away. No, he can't. Well defended. Christopherson now comes away, and you can see both sides throwing caution to the wind. And Matthews gets his body in the way, but Harrison comes away. Gets to the outside of Kerr. He's outnumbered here, and he's run away from his support. What can he come up with? He's got Brydson back inside now if he can find him. Tries to take a strike. London tries to get it away. It falls now. Acoch takes a strike, but skews it off the outside of the right, and every one is at 6s and 7s. I don't think either side quite had that under control.
Yeah, exciting football. End-to-end football. And, yeah, you're right about it, Chris. The game's really starting to open up now. Both teams chasing a goal. The first goal of this game, and Okocha would have liked that moment back. I think he just stabbed at it a little bit. Probably needed a bit more composure in that final finish. And yeah.
It looked like it was just spinning away a little bit from him, and he just ended up reaching and found the outside of the boot. Harrison and Woodbine giving plenty to each other. Brydson, Figura, Kreiner. Not quite sure what that tackling technique was from Adam Woodbine, but anyway, just threw himself in full tilt. Both sides unsurprisingly starting to warm up some substitutes, and Cable now is going to be given a card, is he? Or just a caution? A yellow card. Some interesting commentary coming from the dugouts. Second yellow card going against Bell Swans.
Very similar position, free kick wise, just on the opposite side of the field now for New Lambton. And
Brydson again.
Yeah, it looks like it's Brydson.
A little bit further forward this time, but if he can rake it across with that slice again. Got a different revolution going now, and Sam Kirk doing well, just retreating away. Woolston will come and drive this down the line. Woodbine's there. I thought that was definitely across the line. No signal from the assistant referee, but the referee got it in the end. You could tell it was very delayed from Adam Woodbine. He's going, oh, hang on, there's no whistle after the ball bounced back into play, but they got there in the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chris, the first rule I learnt was play the whistle when I was younger, so...
You can't blame him, but even he, I think, was surprised for a moment there, as that beats both Okoch and Matthews. Stafford treading a very fine line at the moment, I think, with some conversations with the officials. Now, what will happen here? All the numbers back. Brander's dropping it back to O'Connor. Reed now on the ball. You can feel the intensity building here. Both sides really aware what's on the line. Who's going to be the first to break? Christopherson. Beats one, beats two. Driven. Just watchfully seen over the crossbar. A little parry on it from the hand of Abrams. And it'll be a corner for New Lambton. He was up and he was flying to stop that one, was Kai Abrams.
Yeah, slick little move down the left flank from Christopherson, and he was just teasing with that right foot, found half a yard of space and decided to pull the trigger, and he wasn't far off. Keeper just having to tip it over the bar, and New Lambton have got a good opportunity now through a set piece with Ken Harrison.
Yeah, Harrison taking it. Hit it with the right. Gets the backspin on it, getting it to drop. Almost a collision of friendly fire, and Woolston sends it the wrong way. Kreiner drives it away, and this will come down and trickle across the sideline. And now we're going to come over, and I thought he might have been treading a fine line earlier, and now he's going to get a yellow card as Mick Stafford. Doesn't seem to have taken the caution to heart, though, Mick Stafford.
I'd say otherwise.
We'll wait and see. He's still trying to argue the yellow card, I think. Anyway, we move back on with the game and what we're here to watch. There's another one player losing some footing. We can start to see some turf being dug up on that far side. Acock beats one, can't beat the next. Kirk drives it forward. Woodbine. Patterson sweeping around, gets the missed pass. Gets a little nudge, and this will be another yellow card. The cheese is flying thick and fast at the moment.
Yes, it is. And a little bit of ill discipline there, but maybe just necessary to slow the play down a little bit. It looked like Patterson was going to run away with that there.
It was interesting. It looked like the pass was designed for Woodbine and just missed him, and then Patterson came flying down the left flank, as you say, and he's looked dangerous when he gets going forward at pace.
A couple of plays now in the books. It'll be interesting how this half plays out. Got to be cautious.
Coach Stafford just wants Alex Clayton down there, wants Blunden to take it. Blunden drifts it into the box, but it beats everyone as it slices away, and like Cable was the intended target. Escalante down there in the shadows. Take this goal kick. Abrams barking instructions to his team.
Yeah, it looks like New Lambton just taking that long goal kick approach now. They didn't see much of that in the first half.
As we said, we expect them to sort of start going forward, and Harrison takes a optimistic shot from long range, and it soars well wide to the left and above the goals. Yeah, and undoubtedly, I think the tactic probably at the moment is it's going to be a lot harder for the other team to score if we don't have it in our own half.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, you can already see in this second half, Chris, the game's already started to open up from our first half. It was a little bit, I wouldn't say cagey, but it was definitely, you know, two sides playing safe, sitting in their defensive block and holding a lot of discipline. But I think the instructions from both coaches in the halftime talk would have been to get up and at it. We need to score a goal.
Certainly exciting as Howard and Cable come together, both end up on the deck, and again, as the referee has done so far today, just allowing them to go on with play. Deep in stoppage time at Lyle Carr, and it's still 2-1, and we've got here another yellow card. This is going to be this time. Adam Woodbine's going to get one. It's about the 5th yellow card by my maths in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the third one, excluding the coach, for Bell Swans. A couple of players just walking a tightrope at the moment.
It's certainly going to be an interesting one, especially as players accumulate cards too towards the back end. You don't want to be without crucial players. Full time at Lyle Carr, and it is 2-1 to Cooks Hill. Goals to Williams and Waddell steering them home. Lundy getting on the score sheet for Azuri. It's a key win for Cooks Hill United. And another loss. They're starting to pile up for Charlestown.
Yeah, well, I think 4 weeks now, potentially without a win, and yeah, it's not the time of year you want to be in that type of form. Oh, some strike there from the edge of the box.
Was a strike from the edge of the box, and Escalante well and truly up to it. Full time at Arthur Eden as well. 7-0 Lambton. I think we quoted the stat the other day on that recap that the first 9 or 10 games they scored 7 goals. They scored 7 in an afternoon today, and that not only is it a tough loss for Valentine, it's a real hammer to their goal difference and a real boost to Lambton's.
Well, yeah, we talked about the run-in of every team in the competition yesterday, Chris. And Valentine have got a tough run home. Very tough run home. And that 7-0 loss today, well, that'd have to be one of the biggest results this season. And yeah, for the Jaffers, on the other side of things, that's 3 in a row for them. 3 clean sheets and, well, I believe 12 goals in 3 games.
That now means, as it stands live, Valentine have the most conceded goals in the competition. They brought up the half-century, not a half-century you want to be bringing up. And yeah, as you say, it's only getting tougher. They host Maitland next week, and then the week after, they go to Broadmeadow under lights on a Friday night. So that'll be interesting to see how they recover from that and how they bounce back. I have a feeling they might have had a 7-1 earlier in the year as well, maybe against Edgeworth. So, yeah, not a great time for them, and again, it's going to put them firmly in the sights for relegation conversations as well, as these two sides are fighting it out here, and Matthews gets the head to it. Howard flying up against Newton. There's certainly no one cooling their jets here. Patterson heads it on. Prodded wide. Cable and Reed in a foot race. Reed drives it along the line. Clayton does well to pick the pocket of Christopherson. Change coming here. Sam Kirk's going to come off. And Quinton Phillips-Tapsell will go on. Former Azuri player. He might rather be here today than in the Azuri colours at the moment after another loss for them. Straight change though, defender for defender. Maybe just freshening things up.
Straight into the action he is.
Here's Cable now, driving forward as he has done. Beats 4, almost gets a friendly bounce to beat a 5th. Only had eyes for the straight ahead. He's like a 100-metre sprinter tracking down there with the ball in front of him.
Oh, he definitely has a touch of pace, Cable.
Gets the throw though, and Clayton, unsurprisingly, winds up for the long throw off that, I was going to say the back fence, but it's the side fence. Goes long into the box. Brandis out to it. Newton gets it. And push it wide to Clayton, that man that took the throw. Clayton plays it in the boot to Christopherson. Christopherson comes away. Acoch pushing forward. Tries to get it out in front of Harrison. Harrison battling with Matthews. Matthews pushes him to the outside. Harrison pushed it across. Acoch not quite there in time. And it goes across the byline, but a dangerous half chance created by the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, just, I wouldn't say a lapse in concentration, but probably just a poor error there from Bell Swans in New Lambton's half. Quick turnover, and then New Lambton pounced. Just trying to release Ken Harrison, and that's the man that you want on the ball in the front third. Their top goal scorer for the year, and you'd have to say that was a shot, not a pass. I think Chris just kind of sprayed at it a little bit, but it was a good little breakaway.
We see, we're starting to see it open up. We're starting to see a few missteps and moments of lapse from both sides. It's just going to be about who can capitalise and take that opportunity. At this stage, no one really putting anything too convincing to the scorers. Acoch gets out in front of Matthews. He wins out for pace this time. Giles Harrison tries to fire it in Drew Patterson. That was an awkward deflection. Looked like it was going to go across the sideline, but somehow turned 90 degrees and a corner for New Lambton. Another chance, and only 2 or 3 minutes ago, looked like Bell Swans had the upper hand and pushing forward. Now New Lambton a couple of raids back to back, and now a key set piece with Kent Harrison as the shadows creep across from the west at the southern end here of Blacksmith's Oval. Could New Lambton snatch the first goal here? Harrison lofts it in, dangerous. Abrams comes from the pack. There was players flying, and he just reached their hands up and snatched it from them. Woolston double team. Christopherson comes away with it. I'm still not quite sure how Kai Abrams got his hands to that. It looked like there was 2 New Lambton players, and it was going to be their choice as to who was going to head it past him.
Well, yeah, all I could see was Tommy Connor rising from the pack, and Abraham's come out of nowhere. And I'd have to say it'd be a pretty tough task in this sunlight at the moment as well.
I mean, looking into that sun, and I mean, he's got the cap on, but I don't think it's offering much assistance. The way he took that confidently was like he was never in doubt. Just 2 hands reaching out of the pack.
Yeah, really good keeping.
Newton prods it forward for Woolston. There's lots of numbers tracking back for New Lambton. Not a lot getting forward for Bell Swans. Bit of fatigue coming in. Woolston plays it forward for himself. Gura having to cover across. He's got Patterson at the back post if he can find him. He cooks it behind him, but that's okay. They've still got possession here. Matthews is there, urging Patterson on. Kai Craner takes a strike just over the crossbar. Patterson looking the dangerous man for Bell Swans.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, Chris. He's looked dangerous all day. He's probably just trying to get that half yard to get a shot off himself. Elected to dish it off to his teammate, and there wasn't much doing down that right flank. Number 9 in Woolston was just completely outnumbered, but showed his strength and ability to take the game on.
Really looked like the New Lambton defence were just trying to corral him, and he said, well, I'll see you corral, I'll pop it past it and take it myself. Played for himself, which is, you know, I guess there wasn't, as I said, there wasn't a lot of numbers going forward for them, so Do it himself. New Lambton now with the throw, and they go quickly on the attack. Quentin Phillips Tapsell up against Kent Harrison. Harrison appealing for a foul, and the referee having none of it. They drive that forward, and Howard would love to have that touch again. Looks like we're going to have a change in a moment for New Lambton. This will be their last rotation. Double change. Looks like it'll be Brightson and Howard coming off. Sam Donohoe. Tell you what, the most consistent effort today goes to the youngsters with the megaphone. They have been going non-stop, and why wouldn't it be? It's been, well, not the highest scoring game we predicted. It's certainly been an exciting game.
A bit more vocal from New Lambton now, a bit of pressure up front. Again, as the time goes on, I think they know the importance that they're the one that really needs to chase those 3 points.
Certainly do, and I just realised we got a little bit of an error in the team sheets we had earlier on. It's actually Gura who's going to come on as Brightson tries to prod this forward, and Christopherson's there. Gura in the 9. And it's Kanata Furitani in the 10. He's already on there, but as I said, it'll be Gura coming on. So apologies there to Kanata Furitani.
We'll see how these two boys inject themselves into the game. I'm sure Price will be feeling both of those boys full of confidence.
It's a chance to make a name, isn't it? They've only had the one win, and you could be the key cog that delivers the second win of the season. Giles Harrison trying to argue with his assistant referee. I don't think that's going to get you too far. Now for Itani. Nice touch, nice turn. Patterson does get it for Gura. Gura plays it forward for Kent Harrison. He keeps it just inside the sideline. Peels for offside. Absolutely skins Ian Matthews and works in towards that in yard boxing. Rattles the side netting this time. A little deflection off Blunden though.
Yeah, wins his side a corner. Positive play from Harrison.
Under 20 minutes remaining. Time ticking down here. Who can find the killer blow that will earn their side the crucial 3 points? Or will it remain a scoreless stalemate? Time for twists and turns, that is for certain. Harrison now. Last delivery was strong. Defenders having to work with the sun. Drives this in flat. A little too flat, lands on the roof of the net.
Yeah, he got that one wrong. He got it right last one. Good execution. Just missed that this time round.
You're going to see another change this time. I was going to say it has to be for Bell Swans because New Lambton have used their rotations. And interesting, if they are to take any injuries from here, New Lambton, it'd be really tough for them. Giles Harrison, as Patterson tries to take the change, and it's actually Drew Patterson who's going to be changed. Matt Hall will come on. Interesting. Patterson, as we said, has been probably one of their most dangerous.
Yeah, interesting tactic there, and I thought he was one of their most lively as well, but Hall's got an opportunity now to make an impact on the game as well.
Certainly does. I guess up front there, Woolston and Woodbine have both been strong, so one of those tough decisions that a coach likes to have. He's got 3 players who are playing well out there. They just haven't found the opportunity yet, so how does he unlock those? Clayton ranging forward, beats one, beats another to the outside, tries to cross it in, but can't get through the defensive shutdown, and Reed comes away with it. Gets to the outside of Cable. Phillips Tapsell drives it back down the line. Cable again. Nice little 1-2. Joe Cable tries to slice through 2 defenders, does get away, but hits the touch. Now they're working. Matthews here. Hall presenting. Woolston presenting. Or he's got Craner back inside. He goes to Woolston. Looks a little touch on Giles. Harrison gets the last touch. Acott's trying to debate it. You think by this point in their football careers, these guys might have worked out. The referees, I don't think I've seen many, if any, change their decision.
Well, I surely haven't seen it.
It is a force of habit, though, isn't it? You just try and plea. It's almost a plea more than it is an argument.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a wistful one. Matthews now with the throw. Will they go long again here? Well, he's back against the side fence. Long throw into the box, headed on, not far away from Woolston, but just off target again. You can see the fatigue starting to build in a number of players. Tell you something that's not fatiguing, though, is the voice of Tom O'Connor. He is baying for his side to push on and take the points here.
Well, yeah, with 15 minutes to go in regulation time, it's now or never, Chris. They've got to start sending bodies forward. Expect a little bit more from Reid. Harrison as well on the right flank. Just try and feed that ball into the boys up front.
I think they're looking for Gura maybe to be that spark to unlock in the centre of midfield here. I'm just saying it's probably going to be a numbers thing. That looked like a foul on the edge of the box. We might be playing advantage. Opportunity for Hall here. Oh, just to the left of the post. My word, he wasn't far away there, despite being almost prone on the ground when he struck it.
You'd have to say, good advantage from the referee. I think the initial contact was just outside of the box then, and he let Woolston advance, put in that nice ball back stick to Hall, and I think that was his first touch since he's come off the bench. Could have been a goal.
Would have been one of those ones that goes down as a masterful substitution when it works out that way, as Newton overcooks that one. Just over 13 minutes remain here, and they range for Donohoe for Christopherson. Gets inside the 18-yard box. They're just trying to track him and close him down. Newton just gets the body in front, the bigger man. Now Gura can't quite control his next touch, but gets away with it. Harrison to Harrison. Giles to Kent. Hall dispossesses him. Threads it down the line, looking for Craner. He can't quite get there. Giles Harrison puts it into the box. Blunden gets a clearing kick in the end. Fertani takes it away, looking for some space, and they find that. Reid tracks back for it. Fertani has to work, undoes Woodbine. Tapgura. O'Connor. Kent Harrison down the line, looking for Tapgura. London feints the drive and chips it down the line. Headed away. Craner pushing forward. He's got time and space here. Defender tracking back. That's good cover by Sam Donohoe. A fresh sub. Hall against Gura. Giles Harrison trying to put it out for Kent Harrison, but headed away by Matthews. Hall now brings it down, gets a nudge in the back, and that'll be a soft foul, but a foul nonetheless. So Gura going on with it a little. Need to be cautious. We've seen the referee willing to dish out the yellow cards in this half. A flurry of them in the first half of the second half.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we're inching closer to the 90 minutes now, and the boys just got to keep their heads cool at the moment. Again, this is where fatigue kicks in. This is where we're heading into those precious moments where one lapse in concentration could be enough in a game that's 0-0 right now.
Ball headed into the box. Donohoe again, the last line, somehow comes away with it from Woolston. Spills wide for Cable. What can he conjure here? Clayton running the overlap. Pulls it back against Christopherson. Goes to the outside himself. Thinks to lay it off. Turns again. Pulls it back. He's foxing them well here. Clayton puts it into the box. Hall almost there again. Woodbine goes to ground against Reid. Cable with a hard sliding tackle comes away with it. Ball spills out awkwardly, but they're going to say it's gone across the byline.
Sam Oscalat just electing to go long again.
Yeah, driving long off the goal kick. Inside the final 10 minutes here of regulation time. Has someone got the winning touch, or is it going to peter out at 0-0? That's the question. One thing is, neither side's dying wondering here. They're going to give everything they have to try and find that killer blow. One rotation of changes left for the home side, none for New Lambton. And I tell you what, as much as it doesn't really help their cause, Buttes, it would be something. As we see this going forward, a little too heavy for. It was something considering 2 forced changes in the opening 10 minutes. If New Lambton could somehow hang on for a point here, an even more phenomenal story if they somehow take the 3. For Atani, wide for Giles Harrison now. Gura making a run. Koch. Giles Harrison blocked by Craner. Driven forward by O'Connor. Abrams underneath it strongly. Giles Harrison probably lucky he didn't get a better handful of Kai Craner there where he tried to just slow him down.
You've just got that feeling, Chris. It's just going to take one moment.
And you feel like it could be one of those moments. It's probably, you know, the pot shot or something else here. It could be, there's something a little left field. And it'll be heartbreak for one side and absolute jubilation for the other. As we said, this match has so much meaning for both these sides. Both the home side Bell Swans as they sit 9 points above New Lambton, and New Lambton in their Indigenous kit celebrating Indigenous round. Just trying to claw their way towards those couple of teams sitting just above them. Newton, both teams you can see, slowing their stride, running out of gas. The needle on the petrol tank tipping down towards empty. Joe Cable, he's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps on going, ranges forward. Gets a little bump, the referee says play on. Hall tracks back, Matthews is there. Had Craner but closed the option. Now he advances down the right, the left wing. Outside Gura, just trying to draw a foul. Does well to keep the ball, beats 2, pops it into the box. Woolston over the crossbar, not that far away. Now we've got Giles Harrison down injured, and this is what I talked about, Matt Butner. If there's any significance to this, they don't have any changes left, New Lambton.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about the forced changes, and they've had a pretty unfortunate day here out at Blacksmith in terms of injuries. And Harrison doesn't look like he's doing too well at the moment. Not sure what the injury might be, but he's still down and out.
It'll certainly mean that a little bit more drama will be added because it'll extend out the stoppage time, which is always that great unknown. Today we don't have a fourth official board, so we'll be left guessing a little. He's back to his feet, but it's not looking good.
Not at all, just limping off at the moment, holding the left ankle up.
The fact that he's had to be assisted off by a couple of teammates is not great, but I mean certainly for the time being, and he looks really distraught. I think we've just seen the sign from the physio suggesting that he might not be able to continue, so it might be for the remaining, what you'd assume would be probably about 6.5 minutes of stoppage time, and then maybe 3 to 4 minutes of, 6.5 minutes of regulation time, and then maybe 3 to 4 minutes of time. That it will be 10-man New Lambton. Seeing the signs from the coaching staff to go to a 3-man defensive unit, which unsurprisingly needing the 3 points, they can't really pull someone back with 10. Is this the key moment?
It has to be a heroic 10-man performance now from New Lambton.
Can Belsons make them pay? The ball out in front. Belsons have made a change at that break too, and it's crossed across to the back post, but a little heavy. Cam Lodge's come on for them. Joe Cable's come off. So focused on the injured Giles Harrison. And interestingly, Harrison was one of those players that was the changes that came on for the injured players.
That's right.
Looks like it's the knee the physio's giving some attention to, so hopefully nothing too serious. There's two people, you much more recently and me in the much more distant past. We know how troublesome a knee can be. Gura laying flat on his face, appealing. The referee said that you caused yourself to end up there. Matthews now working it away down the line for Craner. Plays it into the legs of Tom O'Connor.
I wonder if they elect to go for this long throw here. I know it's a little bit deeper. It looks like he's shaping up for it.
So Ian Matthews has maybe snuck it an extra couple of metres as players I want to do. Throws it long, a little side spin on it, headed back, cleared away Hall. Christopherson, Woodbine thinks about a very acrobatic effort. Chips it into the box, headed down. Oh, almost for Lodge. He just couldn't get enough power on it, and Esquilante's down to it, just falling on it and covering it up.
This little pop shot on the swivel there from Lodge, and if it went anywhere else left to the right of Escalade, you thought it'd be a chance.
Just over 4 minutes remain of regulation time. That's not what Clayton was looking for there, but it's ended up okay. Now they work forward. Woodbine looking at options. He's got Matthews sitting with him. Goes forward to Craner. Craner threads the needle wide for Woolston. Woolston up against the Kosh. Gets to the outside and deep on him. Headed away. Brandis does well. He's been solid all day at the back. Lodge now. Plays into the legs of Christopherson. Gives him a little nudge and that'll be a foul. Not much in it, but a foul nonetheless.
Yeah, well defended from New Lambton, and it just feels like they're taking wave after wave now since Harrison come off, unfortunately. They do have 10 men at the moment. Can't make any more changes. They'll have to see this game out.
So Giles Harrison heading back towards the bench. So you think that is his afternoon done, unfortunately. No point risking it at this stage, and I'll escort him back to the bench, as you say. They'll finish with 10. And then we'll head towards stoppage time. And wait to see how long we've got. As I said, that stoppage and injury will add to that as Reed shapes to send the throw backwards on the defensive side. Here's Reed now. Acosh is wide and Lodge loses his footing. Interesting to see how New Lambton approach this. Do they still try and go for the goal? Acosh is wide. Gura, a nice little touch. Tries to play it there. Press forward. That'll be offside. Wilson was well advanced of the defence. Brandis quick to get on with it. New Lambton aren't settling for a draw here. O'Connor switches it wide, looking for Christopherson. Headed forward, but Reed comes and picks it off again. They appeal for handball. He feeds it down. Sam Donohoe puts it into the box. Blunden side kicks it. Gura tangling up with Craner, and that'll be a foul. He initiated the contact and locked him in. Well, Giles Harrison looks like he's trying to get himself back on. Well, I think it's the best miracle recovery we've seen since maybe one about 2,025 years ago on Easter. I thought he was dead to rights. He's back out there, though. Certainly looking a little awkward, but that's, you know, some quality intent to try and support his side. They head it forward, Hall. O'Connor. Be interesting to see how he goes if he is lured into a one-on-one challenge. Harrison. Push forward, Woodbine there. Gets a shoulder for his efforts. Woolson, will he wind up? Tries to push it wide, but again, that man, Varley Brandis, is there. The import continues to star. Acosh trying to make a run. He has to pull it up as Gura goes to Harrison. He's still a bit uncertain in his gait. He's trying to push forward here. He's persevering for Atani. Chips it forward. Is Donohoe onside? The flag stays down. Push towards the goals, but push wide, just off target. You thought that might have been the moment. And I tell you what, that footage would have been poured over inch by inch, undoubtedly, by both sides, had that been a goal, because it was very tight on the offside line.
Very tight indeed, but yeah, such a tidy ball over the top there through the middle, and well, Stafford's blowing at the moment at his back line. Maybe the referee, actually. 5 minutes additional time.
So we'll see 5 minutes. We're just into the last minute of regulation time here. 5 minutes to see a final twist in the tail. We promised you an enthralling game of football. It's certainly been that. It's not quite been what we expected. We're expecting A plethora of goals, and we are yet to see one. Will we see one? They push forward, Bell Swans. Woolston. Hall. Chips it in, but off the outside of the boot, and just can't quite get it on target. If there's any stones in the technical area, McStafford would be kicking them all at this moment.
I think they've already been kicked, Chris.
He might be in the Swansea channel by now. He's getting frustrated. I feel that they've probably had a couple of the better opportunities with a couple of the headed chances. But it's not to say that either side's really had a lot of high-quality chances. Been lower percentage chances, I think you'd say, and a handful for each. It's not that either side's had a lot better of it. A draw is probably a fair result at the moment. But again, you just feel you want to see that twist, that turn for the drama and the theatre of this relegation battle. Woodbine takes a strike, well over. And we are going to come back for the foul. Just outside, millimetres outside the 18-yard box. Caleb Reid is astounded by it. I'll tell you what, I said we want to see twists and turns. Is this it, Matt Buettner? There's not a better spot for it to come from.
Yeah, this is probably the best position set piece we've seen all day from both sides. And just going off what you said earlier, it's been a game of probably minimal chances, unfortunately. And credit to both sides defensively, they've been quite brilliant today. They both had that conservative approach in the first half. The game's definitely opened up in his second half, and I think everyone's hanging for a little twist. And if you're at Blacksmiths now, the Bell Swans, the home side, have got a great opportunity through that left foot in Woodbine.
Woodbine stepping up. I thought it might have been Clayton. Interesting to watch. I think Reece Newton, a very deliberate positioning here, sitting deep. If that ball's just popped back out, I might see him come through and have a touch and a finish. Woodbine takes the strike towards the top corner, not far away. Escalante was watching tightly.
Not far away at all, Chris. Looked like Escalade was beat, if anything. Maybe he had his angles covered. Just whispering past that far top corner. Probably got 3 minutes remaining in this additional time, and New Lambton needed in the other side of the opposition's field.
Certainly do. Both sides now just in a midfield malaise, trying to get it free. Gura takes on the yellow wall. It spits back to Varley Brandis. Tell you what, he's been one of the best. He's just been consistently turning up on the defensive line.
He has.
Nothing flashy, but just consistent and solid. Now, Christopherson trying to find an avenue to attack. Goes back to Caleb Reid. Returns it to Christopherson. Taking on Clayton. Gets to the outside. Prods it into the box. I tell you what, Phillips taps to look like he was sniped, but then the knee caught. A good tackle. It wasn't exactly textbook, but Craner, that's a yellow card for certain. That's just cynical. Understandable, but cynical from Furutani.
Yeah, Furutani just trying to get half a yard, just line up a shot on the edge of the box, and it was a good intervention, and he just had to make up for his error.
Didn't see a yellow card in the first half. We've seen 7, including Mick Stafford in the second. Shows the emotion and the effort and the maybe overzealousness that's been applied in this second half. London, is he going to club this long? He does. Drives it down towards the 18-yard box. Woodbine's out there. Reid, one of those players on a yellow card. Woodbine, can he find a little cross in? Does find the cross in, but again, who's there? Varley Brandis. Ken Harrison, Tapgura. They go on the counter-attack. Acosh cutting through the middle, looking for an option. Gura just plays it off the legs. He gets into the 18-yard box. Blunden shepherds him away from the 18 yards. Makes Gura work, under pressure. Gura goes to ground very easily, and the referee not having any of it. He's not buying that, and all of a sudden they go the other way. Miss hit by Woodbine. It's going to track across. Kent Harrison on one leg. Sorry, that's Giles Harrison. Now Kent Harrison. Ken Harrison plays it back for Atani. Plays it in, looking for Ken Harrison. Craner putting the pressure on. They're going to press here. 4 minutes of additional time already elapsed. 5 was the indication we were given. Caleb Reid. Alex Clayton clears it. Throw in now. Deep in attacking territory. New Lambton, well, they have the last say here in round 20, match of the round. Indigenous round. I'll tell you what, this game's absolutely delivered everything it's promised. But is it going to be a share of the points, or is someone going to snatch the 3? Now got a little delay waiting for the football.
Well, there's definitely been no lack of effort from both sides today, Chris. Like you mentioned, there's been 7 yellow cards this half as well. Full of emotion. Both sides know the importance of this game, and New Lambton maybe have the last chance of the game here to clench something.
Okay, the throw deep. Christopherson tries to appeal. There's been some, certainly some enthusiastic sales of some contact at different points from both sides. Just trying to win that extra inch. A few players have gotten away with it, a few haven't. Newton now advancing forward. We've got Christopherson down, clutching his knee in back play. We'll keep an eye on that. Spills back for Clayton. Is this the last hurrah? Woodbine into the referee for Itani. The 5 minutes is gone. We're very much at the referee's discretion. Woodbine pushes it wide, overcooks it. You have to feel that we're almost due the referee's whistle here.
Can't be long now.
Only 6 minutes of added time played. Very little between these two sides. Giles Harrison heads it on. Matthews is there, watching it across the line. Goes long, looking for Woolston. Akosh is there, keeps it inside the sideline. Hall, is this the last chance now? It feels like every time I'm saying that, the game keeps extending. Hall now, Woolston. Can he get the cross in? Lofts it in. Woodbine's there under pressure. Gets a touch, Craner. Can he get a shot over the crossbar? And I was about to say, is that what could have been? It certainly is. They had the last say, but it was to no effect, and bodies drop on both sides. A point apiece. But unfortunately, Matt Butner, it might not be enough for either side. Bellswans couldn't put it away, and New Lambton couldn't take advantage. Undoubtedly, both these teams left wondering what might have been, keeping the relegation fight wide open for the playoffs and really putting the pressure firmly on New Lambton in terms of avoiding that automatic relegation.
Yeah, definitely, and we spoke about it earlier. It probably had to be 3 points today from New Lambton. It's going to be a very uphill battle now. A pretty fair result, I'd have to say. A good contest today, a fair battle from both sides, plenty of emotion, and, well, the race for relegation continues.
It certainly does. I sometimes wonder, is it a race for or a race away from? But either way, it is well and truly heating up, and both these sides will continue to be in the crosshairs as we watch how the remainder of the season unfolds. It certainly lived up to its billing as match of the round, and thank you very much for joining us here from Blacksmiths Oval for match of the round. Just remember, you can catch every game of the men's and women's NPL first and reserve grade live and free on the Northern New South Wales NPL YouTube channel. Signing out for myself, Chris McPherson, and Matt Butner. We look forward to coming to you again next week. Sometimes I like it better when it's not what you expect. Right?
Yeah, the standard there wasn't too bad. And in all honesty, good kid, though.
You got to make that
Hey,
stick.
no, he got onto it, eh? I think I didn't tell him about it. And he goes, what was the go with the Milky Way kid? I was like,
I don't know where it covered all.
man, I don't know. I said, here's Chris's number, talk to him, mate.